हे हाय हेलो दिस इज़ अपना बुक। स्वागत है आपका मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में।
September we met, I could tell by your smile.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into some really core principles for maybe living a better life based on ideas from Akhil Gupta, the founder of Ono Creators.
Yeah, and a lot of people listening have probably heard of things like the law of attraction before.
Right.
But what we want to do here is go a bit deeper than just the surface level.
Yeah.
Really unpack how these ideas, which are all kind of connected, can actually work in practice.
Exactly. We'll be exploring Akhil's thoughts on, well, the law of attraction, obviously, but also gratitude, forgiveness, the idea of not judging people, and finally, letting go. Think of it as digging into a toolkit for maybe personal growth. Our mission today is to pull out the key takeaways from what Akhil says and see how they might genuinely help improve things.
Okay, so where do we start? Maybe with that big one, the law of attraction. Akhil sees this as pretty foundational.
Yeah, he does. And his definition is, well, it's pretty straightforward. Whatever you focus on, good or bad, you kind of pull it towards you.
Like a magnet, right? That's the comparison he uses.
Exactly, like a magnet. Focus on the positive, attract positive stuff. Focus on the negative. Well, you draw in more negative situations.
And what's really key in Akhil's view is the power of our thoughts themselves. He suggests they're not just fleeting ideas.
No, he sees them as having energy, like they go out into the universe.
And that energy attracts similar energy back.
Yeah.
It really makes you stop and think about what kind of signals you're broadcasting all day.
It totally does. It makes being mindful of your own thinking seem, well, incredibly important, doesn't it? If this principle works, like he says, then actively trying to think positively, constructively, that becomes key.
Right. And for anyone listening who wants to get these ideas quickly but really get them, understanding this first one is crucial. It sets the stage for the others.
Makes sense.
So flowing naturally from attracting positivity, Akhil brings up gratitude, its importance in life.
Gratitude. Yes. And his logic is, again, quite simple and elegant.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're genuinely thankful for what you've already got, you sort of invite more good things in.
It's like telling the universe, hey, I appreciate this, more please, kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. And it signals you're open to receiving more of that positive energy.
And Akhil also points out something else interesting about gratitude, how it anchors us in the now.
Right. It stops you focusing on what you don't have and makes you notice the good stuff that's already around. You know, the little things.
Those everyday joys we often just rush past. Practicing it daily can really shift your whole perspective.
And it's not just about getting more stuff, is it? He talks about the internal benefits, too.
Oh yeah, the impact on your mental state. He suggests a grateful mind is generally calmer, more positive.
Which then makes dealing with life's, bumps in the road feel a bit easier.
Exactly. That connection for me is a real aha moment. Gratitude, not just for attracting things, but for building inner resilience.
Totally. A calmer mind. Okay, so from that inner state, where does Akhil go next?
Well, he tackles something that can be quite challenging for many people. Forgiveness.
Yes. Forgiveness. Definitely not always easy. And Akhil gets that right. He acknowledges how hard it can be, especially if you've been really hurt.
He does.
Yeah.
But here's the crucial insight he offers, the reframe. He says forgiveness is actually, well, it's more for you, the forgiver, than for the person who did the hurting.
That's such an important distinction. It's not about saying what they did was okay.
Not at all. It's not about excusing them. It's about you. Akhil explains that holding on to resentment, that lack of forgiveness, it traps us.
Right, and all those negative feelings. And he suggests that can really weigh you down, not just mentally, stress, anxiety, but maybe even physically over time.
Like carrying this invisible heavy load.
Yeah.
And forgiveness, then, is about putting that load down. It's about cutting those cords to past hurts.
Setting yourself free, essentially.
Exactly. It gives you that freedom to actually move on towards feeling happier and healthier. And thinking about what you said earlier about feeling overwhelmed. Well, choosing to forgive, to let go of that old hurt, that's a really practical way to clear out some of that mental clutter.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, another principle Akhil talks about is trying not to judge other people.
Right. Seems obvious, maybe, but there's depth to it in his view.
And his reasoning comes down to
Empathy, basically, understanding that everyone's dealing with their own stuff, their own unique situation, their own backstory. that we as outsiders just don't know.
Yeah, we only see a tiny fraction, don't we?
Exactly. So when we jump to judge, it's usually based on such limited information like one action or how someone looks.
And our judgments can be way off base. And worse, they can actually cause pain.
Definitely. So Akhil really pushes for more understanding, more compassion, just remembering that everyone's fighting some kind of battle,
It ties back to that idea of wanting multiple perspectives, doesn't it? If you consciously think, okay, I don't know their full story, it naturally makes you less likely to judge.
It really does. It broadens your whole view of why people do what they do.
Yeah. Okay, so that leads us nicely into the last principle Akhil covers, which is...
It's put very simply, let it go.
Let it go. So what exactly does he mean by that?
He means releasing things that are either totally outside our control or things that are just causing us pain and holding us back.
And we humans are pretty good at holding on to things, aren't we? Old arguments, bad experiences, worries.
We tend to cling to them. And Akhil points out how that stops us from moving forward positively.
So let it go isn't about being passive or just giving up.
No, not according to Akhil. It's more about active acceptance. Recognizing what you truly cannot change and then consciously deciding to, emotionally detach from it.
Okay. And the upside of doing that?
Big upsides, he suggests. Feeling lighter, for one. Being more grounded in the present instead of stuck in the past.
And that gives you the headspace to look towards the future, right?
Exactly. Freedom.
Does he give any pointers on how to do that? Because it sounds easier said than done sometimes.
He does offer something practical. He suggests that when those negative thoughts pop up or something bad happens, you can literally tell yourself internally, let it go.
Like a mantra.
Kind of, yeah. And he stresses it's a practice, something you get better at the more you do it. So for listeners wanting actionable tips, that's a concrete technique to try.
Just consciously saying, let it go.
Okay. So bringing it all together.
Yeah.
We've walked through Akhil Gupta's key ideas for a more fulfilling life.
Yeah, the law of attraction setting the foundation.
Then the power of gratitude.
The freedom that comes with forgiveness.
The wisdom in holding back judgment.
And finally, that release found in letting go.
And what really stands out is how interconnected they all feel, don't they? Each one seems to support the others in creating that overall sense of well-being and growth Akhil talks about.
They really do build on each other.
So maybe a final thought to leave our listeners with. As you've been hearing about these principles, maybe ask yourself, which one kind of clicks with you the most right now?
Yeah, which one feels most relevant to where you are?
Exactly. And then maybe think about how you could intentionally try to practice just that one principle, even in a small way.